state of U.S. politics now?
Man, that is a big crowd, and they are not here for me. How you guys doing? Nice vibe this year, right? After the best month we've ever had.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Is this really the best? Oh my, yeah, ruining the world, ruining the U.S. domestically, best month ever. Just best month. Are you all living your best month this month?
Good to see you all. Thanks for coming out. Good to see you. I'm not going to kill any more time. Let's bring out Elon Musk.
This is the face of your politics, by the way. Gaze upon the face of the American politics. Like a real dork, by the way. I don't even know how to describe it other than that. If I were to be pressed to give a definition of what a dork is, I'd just play this little intro.
For 1 second. Hey guys. We've got one more surprise in case this wasn't enough. I'm gonna let Elon do it. Who else is here?
Well, President Milei has a gift for me.
Javier Milei from Argentina. You
What body language? See, I'm gonna be nitpicky today.
guys know who that is, right? Why don't we bring him out?
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is embarrassing.
Thank you. This is...
I actually thought he would use it, okay? I overestimated him. I swear I overestimated this guy. I actually thought that he would turn it on. No, this was embarrassing, okay? If you're gonna wheel it, turn it on, okay? Don't just make weird noises. This is embarrassing, okay? Let's hear that again. I genuinely thought that he'd turn it on and just wave it around, not impotently.
Chainsaw for...
What the hell is this? Who does that? Who does that? Is that cool in his mind? Is that really cool in his mind? This is pathetic, okay? This is so pathetic.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Oh my God. That should be my donation sound from now on, okay? I'm gonna show you. This should be my donation sound.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw! All right.
I love it. Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. I love it. We love it. We love it.
All right.
They told me to put this right.
Where should we put it?
They want it right here.
All right, great.
A little stage prop.
I love you guys too.
I don't think he knows what love is, quite honestly, considering everything in his life.
Thanks, guys.
He's gonna ask the thing, oh, what are Ukrainian soldiers dying for? What is this all for? Ridiculous.
Have a seat.
So
That was something.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much. I'm living the meme. It's like there's living the dream and there's living the meme, and it's pretty much what's happening, you know.
Yeah, that is what's happening. The world is just one big meme to you. That's why you think that you can just shit all over it and it'll be all fine because it's just a meme.
Like,
That's pretty accurate, actually, what he just said. It's all just a meme, guys. I don't have to worry about anything. It's all just a meme.
I think you're bigger.
I mean, Doge started out as a meme. Think about it. And now it's real. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
But it's cool.
Let me ask you this.
No, it's not.
A year ago.
It's the opposite of cool.
If someone had told you you'd be at CPAC and working with the president to absolutely shred the government, the swamp, whatever you want to call it, would you have ever believed that?
No.
No, me neither.
But it's cool. This is awesome. And I just want to say, thanks for your support. I mean, you guys are, so, I mean, we're trying to get good things done, but also,
and yet you're trying to get good things done, and yet you've only done the bad. What's happening?
Have a good time doing it, and and have like a sense.
Yeah, I'm having a good time ruining the country domestically and meddling into foreign countries' elections. I'm having a ball.
Humor, So
listen, liberal fires everyone responsible for maintaining the nuclear arsenal. And also they're having problems rehiring those people. I guess this is how fallout will happen. If you like Fallout games, then prepare because that is what triggers it.
So, I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it's like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy.
Really, cultural war nonsense at the forefront of U.S. of course.
Yeah, legalize comedy.
Yeah. Oh God, this is so embarrassing. I don't even know how to react to it. It feels embarrassing to watch this. It feels embarrassing to actually just react to it. It feels embarrassing to react to this.
Comedy.
And we've shifted the entire culture in just the last few months. The whole culture of this country has shifted dramatically just because of that election.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not so simple, you idiot.
You know, freedom of speech, having fun again. It seems like we should have a good time, you know.
Yeah, people are dying in the world because of wars, famine. The aid from U.S. organization USAID has been abruptly cut all around the world, which will cause people to, again, starve to death, die from preventable illnesses. But you know what? Let's have fun with it. It's time to have fun and make comedy legal. So while those kids die from starvation, we can make a joke. We can joke about it. It'll be fine. Comedy's legal again.
I mean, it's a great time. Everybody in this place is so excited, and I mean, when you talk to
So
conservatives,
exciting, isn't it? We can cause a lot of people to die, and then we can joke about it.
everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And everybody feels this great sense of relief because we were going to hell for about 4 years. It really felt bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were totally going to hell. Oh yeah, now we're going to heaven. It's all so good now.
Especially toward the end, it felt really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were,
And now it feels so good. Hail comedy.
I thought we were sort of heading for a point of no return, really.
Yeah.
You know?
To now.
So that's why it was so essential that President Trump win the election, and that there be a Republican majority in the House and Senate, which, thanks to you, that has been accomplished.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, one of the biggest questions I have for you is, you've been, politically, you weren't really on one side or the other for a long time. You're a businessman. A lot of people, they stay away from it. Now you're on a side, and you've chosen a side. You're sitting here in a MAGA hat. What's it, how did that happen? What was the moment
It's like, dark Gothic.
So it's like I thought this guy would give me easy access to power, which checks out. Easy access to grants, which checks out. And I am a horrible bigot, and I hate my own daughter that is trans. Check.
Like MAGA.
That's a good one. And what was there a specific moment? Was there a moment that it all changed?
Yeah, when I realized I was a fool. But no, I was, I guess, yeah, I mean, I'd say like I was politically neutral for quite a while.
What does that even mean? There's no such thing as being politically neutral, by the way. That state of existence does not exist.
Leaning a little Democrat,
How do you go from that to this?
Yeah, no,
How does that happen?
Well,
Did they go crazy?
Yeah, they did go crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy.
No, I mean, that whole cancel culture and it's trying to stop freedom of speech.
So basically, he does not have any political beliefs, and that is why he has to lean in so heavy on the culture war stuff, okay? That is exactly why he has to lean in on the political culture stuff, because he doesn't have any political beliefs. He doesn't have any policy-related beliefs for the Democrats or the Republicans. I don't think he knows anything about it. Like, all he can say is freedom of speech, cancel culture, and that's why I went far right. That's why I became a fascist or a Nazi or whatever. He said he wants to bring back comedy. But he and Trump turn into crybabies whenever they get made fun of. They do. All my opinions are normal and not political. True. That's true. You should be like Musk, though. You should realize that you're a fool and you should make America great again. You're a fool, Maha. You should be a MAGA hat. It should be your next level of evolution. I'm gonna go to the toilet and we're gonna continue this amazing spectacle. This is great. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. This is great. I'm back. Grimez? Who? Who's Grimez? Who's Grimez? Oh, interest. Moho, it's time to become a MAGA. You don't have a choice in the matter. You don't have a choice. I'm sorry.
and infringe upon, just
Oh.
in general, infringe upon people's personal freedoms. You know, they just want state control of what you say. So
Oh yes, state control. This is really truly spoken like a person that has never ever lived in a country where information was actually state controlled. And you know what? I come from a country that used to have state controlled information. And I can assure you, Elon Musk does not know what that is, how that feels like, and what sort of fight you have to bring to take that to an end. Elon Musk does not know what state controlled information is. He simply does not. The United States has never experienced real censorship. That is fact.
I want to, take away your guns. And the reason
Nobody wants to take away your guns. That is such an old, tired talking point.
I want to take away your guns, so like there's nothing you do to oppose them. So it's sort of like, I just like we just need to restore the fundamental elements of what made America.
It's basically what I thought, okay? Just like I thought. He has nothing to say, so he's just bumbling, mumbling, stuttering, bullet points. Take away your guns, freedom of speech, government-controlled information.
Great, which is freedom and opportunity.
Yeah, and his platform bans people for saying the word cisgender, freedom of speech. My freedom of speech.
We're seeing a lot of these freedoms disappearing in the West. It's
And then the seals clap.
not just about America. We're all watching Europe and knowing that they're about 50, 100 years ahead of us, right? Because they got an early start. And we're watching how they're devolving. And you're trying to save it from happening here.
No, Europe,
I want to hear how Europe is devolving because I don't get enough brain dead rhetoric.
people in prison for memes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's insane.
And they're collapsing. I mean, this is
Or the memes, who is collapsing? What is this empty talk?
society it's a collapsing society. It feels that way.
Europe is not a single society. What the hell are you talking about? Are you stupid?
It feels like,
France was nicer 50 years ago than it is today.
yeah,
I don't think you can question that.
No, it wasn't.
yeah.
You're stupid.
So,
I can.
but yeah, I mean, really, thanks. I love you too. I mean, I really just wanted to do useful things, like basically build products.
Oh, so basically nothing that you're doing now. You want to do useful things, but it's basically nothing like what you're doing now. Good to know.
Provide products and services that are good, and that I wasn't really like that interested in being political. It just like there was at a certain point no choice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My memes, there weren't. I had no choice. My memes. I simply had no choice. Declining society.
I asked you on the same side of that coin, what's it like from going neutral to being vilified, largely vilified by the media? Like
It feels great.
No. Really?
I mean, you turn on some of these channels, brother. I mean, they're angry. Does it bother you at all? Does it get to you?
I mean, when they're chanting for my death, I suppose that's a little,
Not good.
But then, like, the song's not even that good, and it's like you call that a death chant? That's nothing. Please.
Wow, he's so funny. He's so charismatic. The charisma is oozing off of him. Not only is he not saying anything, he also has a charisma of a plank.
Please.
Europe is a single country. Don't you know that? I've learned it today.
They've been singing a lot lately.
Not even good music.
There's a lot of music lately. It's not good music either. Yeah.
Yes.
I would say that watching what you're doing with Doge is just people love it. I mean, I've
No. Are you an idiot? People love it. We actually live it. We actually live in an alternative reality, don't we? People love it.
always looked at the government, and I've always looked at the government, and I've seen this big machine and you just know that they waste because they don't care. Nobody can. There's more money coming. They don't care.
Yeah.
You're cutting all this out. Everybody in this country knows that the government is full of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Yeah, waste like people being responsible for overseeing nuclear arsenal, right? It's just waste.
And you're doing the work, and the Americans love it. Watching their reaction politically to this, I can't believe how bad they are at responding to this. I don't know how you're going to sit there and scream and complain because they're cutting waste out of the government and try to win another election. How do you try to win on that?
Well, at this point, I'm not sure how much of the left is even real.
Yeah.
You know?
How much was propped up by our money, you know?
Yeah, like literally, you know, you see like these sort of fake rallies where there's like hardly any people, and the media will like frame it and like, you know, get all 6 people, you know, in the frame, but there's like nobody else is there. Like just it doesn't have popular support. But then you.
Oh yeah, the protests are happening all around the country. Those are all fake, of course. Like it's a lot. It's all maximum 6 people. They're being framed by the media because the media, of course, is all the media is after you and against you. It's all fake news. The only thing that has popular support is butchering the institutions of the United States. Of course, that is. I believe you, Elon Musk.
You learn that like there's hundreds of billions of dollars going to these so-called NGOs.
So-called NGOs. You're not gonna elaborate. You're not gonna provide any evidence for anything. The so-called what do you mean so-called NGOs? Are you saying they're not NGOs?
And it's your tax dollars that are funding things that are fundamentally anti-American.
And
Like what?
propping up their narrative.
Yes.
A lot of that government money has been propping up.
What do you mean by fundamentally anti-American while we're at it? What does that mean? It can mean anything. Being anti-Trump in your mind might be anti-American. Being anti-you might be considered in your mind anti-American. So again, what is anti-American? What is anti-American? I have no clue.
A left that I don't think is as strong as they made it seem.
In fact, a massive amount of your
Wastes like medicine, Medicare, veteran benefits, the people who maintain nukes. Yeah, it's all just waste. It's just give me that money back.
tax dollars is going to legacy media companies directly from the government.
The government wants to take over media.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. That's why we have X.
Yeah, and
That's why you spent $44 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean,
More than it was probably worth. But there was a message.
freedom is priceless.
Yeah, freedom is priceless. That's why you should treat X as a source of news, and you should hold up. I think I got it somewhere. This is rich. Russia went too far a few years ago. Now the Ukrainian government has gone too far. Endless death in trenches is wrong, and anyone who continues to push that lacks both empathy and a brain, because Ukrainian government wanting a seat at the negotiation table in those talks about peace, and what will happen to Ukraine is the equivalent of invading Ukraine. Thank you. That makes so much sense. But I wanna... One moment. I've got something here. Oh my god. Like there's this thing where... I'm just gonna say it, okay? Elon Musk promotes X as a news platform, but also tells you that you should listen for advice of Alexander Dugin.
Priceless. Yeah.
Alexander Dugin. I'm gonna look it up.
Probably one of the most important investments this country's ever seen. If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of criticism, and people said, well, that proves he's a huge idiot from a, you know, like, look, you know, he bought it for whatever, $44 billion, and now it's worth like 8 cents. And
It's not worth 8 cents.
but you know, it was essentially to you know, buy freedom of expression. And
it was to buy your own propaganda. It was basically to buy your own propagandizing space. Yeah. I know. He doesn't speak anything, and he just bumbles, and has the charisma of a wet blanket.
It's all over. It's all over.
Yeah.
Sent into tyranny is really quick after that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's all the sort of federal money going to media companies is what helps explain why the legacy media all says the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it like, it's like...
So you mean report facts, yeah? That explains why all the media just reports things as they are, Is that what you're saying? Hello, Jack, don't do it. Please don't tell me you're an Elon Musk fan because I'll be so disappointed in you if you will say so.
Weird. Like you put them up with like, like when
They're mouthpieces for
the state.
the state.
Yes.
For the state, prove it. Demonstrate it. Give me an example.
That's what we've come to know.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And I like that.
Wait, hold on. You are the state. You literally are the state right now. Trump is the government. Trump has his own cabinet right now. So your movement is the state right now. So why isn't the legacy media your mouthpiece by your logic? If that is true, if the legacy media is just a mouthpiece for the state, then they should be your mouthpieces now. What the hell is the what does that even mean? They should be your mouthpieces.
Mean when they're because they're always saying like threat to our democracy, but if you just replace democracy with bureaucracy, it makes a lot of sense.
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Bureaucracy is a part of democracy, you idiot. It frustrates me when people that don't understand anything about any structure in the government and in the country get into a position of power and go, a democracy, more like bureaucracy. It's on the same level as when people say, hold on, we're not a democracy, we are a republic.
Big threat to the bureaucracy.
That's exactly right. Let's talk about these Doge dividend checks that everybody's talking about this week. And I know you tweeted out that you were gonna. Does everybody want like a $5,000 check in the mail? It sounds kind of good, right?
There you go. I'm glad this is going to be discussed because this is something that has been explained very simply. This has been a thing that's already been talked about. It's very simple stuff. Very simple stuff. Let's go. I've actually already briefly explained it on last stream.
And the best part about it would be knowing where it came from. That's $5,000 that you sent them last year.
Totally. It's money that's taken away from things that are destructive to the country and from organizations that hate you to you. That's all.
I wanna hear this. Is this going to be about the 200-year-olds that receive social benefits?
Awesome.
Does it seem? I mean, have you talked?
I mean, that's like glorious.
Okay, what are those organizations that are so destructive?
It's like the spoils of battle, you know.
I like that.
Yeah, the spoils of battle. I wonder who's gonna maintain those nuclear weapons again?
Is there
Russia really, really likes those kind of cuts, by the way. Whenever the United States fires all people responsible for maintaining nuclear weapons, that is when Russia is like, oh, is that what's happening?
traction on that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I talked to the president, and he's supportive of that, and so it sounds like that's something we're going to do.
Yep.
So
As always, no details. As always, no explanation. As always, no context given.
finding savings, that's going to translate directly to reductions in tax. So
Yeah. I mean, I think they fired 6,000 people at the IRS today.
Yeah.
And I think Lutnick said last night that they're talking about shutting down the IRS.
Wait, shutting down the IRS? Okay, I may not be an expert in the structure of the American government, but International Revenue Service shutting down the what? The Internal Revenue Services is the revenue service for the United States federal government, which is responsible for collecting U.S. federal taxes and administering the Internal Revenue Code. So, who's gonna collect the taxes now? That is my question. Who's going to collect taxes in the United States now if they're gonna shut it down? Why? It makes no sense. They want to eliminate income tax and create an extra. They will plummet the U.S. economy. I cannot wait for that to happen. I just cannot wait for the U.S. economy to plummet. Eliminate income tax. This is a program on the level of the Polish far right party called the Confederacy. They also said, let's eliminate all tax. Good luck. Good luck. You're going to make China pay for the taxes with tariffs, Lucy. True. Oh my god. The idiots with chainsaws at the helm. This intro is so fitting now. I can see just how An idiot with a chainsaw that just waves it around and doing damage to the US internally. That is such a great image. It's so accurate now in my mind. The whole chainsaw bit.
And I think it's fair. I think people should realize this is, I mean, the amount of money that we send Washington like 5 or 6 trillion a year, that is such an ungodly amount of money. I mean, what do they, they say like 1 trillion seconds is like 30 years or something like that. I mean, that's how much we send them, and they seem to never have enough. There must be a lot you can cut.
No, absolutely. People ask me, what's the most...
This is just the most brainless, most juvenile understanding of how anything works. They take so much tax, so much money, you could cut so much. Listen, oh, these guys do this. Are they really necessary? Think of money if we eliminate.
Surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to
Sales tax is not an external revenue service.
DC, you know, when you're in DC. And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures and actually how easy it is to, with
if you lower the income tax and up the sales tax on people, then nothing changes for people, okay? Because if you increase the sales tax, people just have to pay more for things, because the sales tax is added to the price of the things that are sold to people. That is how sales tax works. Okay, sales tax is a thing that is attached to the price of the items that you buy. So nothing changes. Congratulations, you have changed nothing, and nobody saves any money. Okay, it changes nothing for the consumer. Congratulations. Increasing sales tax, it just means that everything is more expensive for the customer. That's great. We've just shuffled around taxes, and at the end the consumer pays the same.
So just when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
And then this is really a childish way to see budgeting. I see lots of money. I can see I could have more money. It doesn't think about why this money gets spent that way. What's the purpose for the organization? What are the results of what that organization does? Which is why they mindlessly fired all the people maintaining nuclear weapons, because they didn't think, oh, what do those people do? What are their duties? Is it important? Is there any responsibility to attach to it? Is there any danger to firing those people? No. They looked, oh, we spend big money on this. We must cut. This is brainless. This is absolutely brainless way to conduct policy revolving finance.
Scoff at it and say, oh, a few billion here or there. I mean, the way they're talking about it, you can see.
You forgot about the tariffs. Oh, yeah. The thing that is supposed to be helping the budding industries in the US, even though Trump only introduces tariffs without actually putting investment into the domestic industry.
Don't care. It's such little money compared.
No, tariffs don't encourage companies to come here. Okay? It never has. Tariffs are not designed to bring business to the United States. Tariffs are actually designed to keep businesses out of the United States so that the United States can nurture its own domestic business. That is why the tariffs were created. That is how the tariffs were historically used. You tariff products to keep them out, and then you take a bunch of money, you invest in the same thing domestically, and you grow it domestically. Tariffs were not designed to make companies, we'll just move here.
How much they're used to wasting. That's what's really scary.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Oh my God.
I mean, exactly, but obviously it just shows that they really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then.
Yeah, if you don't want to butcher the governmental apparatus, then you're just anti-average taxpayer. If you care about the maintenance of US nuclear weapons, then I guess you just hate the average Joe.
And then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot to people, you know?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
I'd like to have it. Let me ask you a question. I know the president fairly well. Watched him survive 2 assassination attempts. Had the first one not happened, the second one would have gotten him. You know,
Yeah.
it was very, because without those extra guys, they would have never seen that gun poking through the fence at the golf course. I saw the crew that you had.
Isn't it like mind-blowing that this has happened? I mean, it just... And what, by the way, why do we still know nothing about that guy in Butler? What's going on? But
He's
Cash is going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, yeah.
Confirmed just a couple hours ago, but I saw that the security detail that you had come in is enormous.
Well, it's not that enormous. Maybe it should be bigger. I don't know.
I think you could probably afford it. But I mean, how concerned are you about your safety? Dealing, I mean, you are a
Don't
wanted
worry, I take small kids with me, so I don't get.
man. Are you nervous?
So, look, I'm open to ideas for improving security, I have to tell you. Like, I don't actually have a death wish, I think. But you know, it's not that easy. Yeah. I mean, but I have like, I've had even like people like President Bukele from El Salvador who managed to put in prison like I don't know 100,000 like murderous thugs. And he was like, he called me. He's like, I'm worried about your security. I'm like, you're worried about my security? I'm like, what? Okay. That's you know.
I mean, yeah, talk about guts to do that down there. I mean,
yeah, totally.
And survive.
Like I'm like, I was like, how did you?
This is what having a bunch of money does for an idiot.
Put all those thugs in prison without dying, because
Yeah.
it seems like that would have been not easy, you know.
Well, the president has one of his top attorneys is now investigating, I guess, Chuck Schumer for threats against SCOTUS, a congressman on the Democrat side for saying, basically saying we're going to bring a war to you, like a fight to you. I mean, the rhetoric. You guys are screwing with things that are not supposed to be messed with. And
well, we're fighting the Matrix.
There's a lot
big
of
time.
people that really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we're fighting the Matrix big time here.
What happened to freedom of speech? Hold on, what's happening here? I want to listen to that again.
Basically against SCOTUS.
Thugs in prison without dying, because it seems like that would have been not easy, you know.
What happened to not persecuting people for their political beliefs? What happened to these values?
Well, the president has one of his top attorneys is now investigating, I guess, Chuck Schumer for threats against SCOTUS, a congressman on the Democrat side.
Hold on, I thought Europe was on the decline when it comes to freedom of speech, and now suddenly there's investigation for speech. What am I hearing? Someone's going to jail for speech?
For saying, basically saying we're going to bring a war to you, like a fight to you. I mean, the rhetoric.
Maybe it was a joke. What happened to comedy? What happened to bringing comedy back? What happened to freedom of speech? I thought they were the guys that loved freedom of speech, but now suddenly they're proud that it's being prosecuted.
Guys are screwing with
People are getting jailed for memes in the U.S. It seems under Donald Trump.
things that
It
are
was
not
just a meme.
supposed to be messed with.
Well, we're fighting the Matrix
There's a lot
big
of
time.
people that really don't want that to happen.
Yeah, we're fighting the Matrix big time here.
Yeah.
But it's got to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trans allegory, very cute.
And
No, it was just a meme. It was a meme. I'm gonna bring the war to you. It's a meme. How do you judge if something is threatening or not? I thought there was no thing as harm or violence via words. You're pretty woke, Jack. Don't do it. You're pretty woke. I thought freedom of speech meant anything to you.
It certainly does. What's going on with? Tell us about Fort Knox.
Yeah, it has always been against the law, and this administration was supposed to bring back the freedom of speech. I thought you were not supposed to get arrested for speech anymore. I thought they were against that. What happened?
There's Kentucky. It's a military base. It's a ton of gold, tons and tons and tons
like
of gold.
5,000 tons of gold or something?
5,000
give or
tons
take,
of gold
you know?
are there in the ground and like this. I mean, it's a very secure.
Grasping? No, not grasping at straws. I can rewind it and let you hear it.
We all want to see it. You know?
I'd love to see it.
Like, this is your gold, by the way. It's the public's gold.
Do you think it's not there?
I don't know.
Anything can be called a threat, okay?
But I think
You just want to see it.
Yeah, we want to go see it and just make sure, like,
We must bring this president down. Oh, okay, a threat. I guess we're just gonna arrest you now. Thank you. We'll bring this president down next election. Uh-oh, threat. That's threatening language.
ready to spray paint some lead or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like, is this real gold? Buy at the bar, you know?
Didn't dent.
But I think, honestly, part of this also is just like, let's have some fun and
By saying we're gonna bring the war to them? Sure. Sure they were.
like I said, all this gold at Fort Knox, it's the public's gold. It's your gold. So like, I think you have like a right to see it.
You want to take a tour?
Yeah, I think we should have do a tour. And then the president last night was like, I think he's in favor of it. That would be cool. And then it should be like a live tour. Like you can see what's going on, open the door, like what's behind it.
Well, and there's,
I think I'd watch that.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, what does 5,000 tons of gold look
totally.
like?
What does
How
it
big
look
is
like?
that? Is it the size of this?
It's got to be pretty
stage?
big,
It's got to be a lot of
Maybe
gold.
there's some other stuff in there, like just walk around,
This
like
is the
I don't
face
know,
of
maybe
American politics now.
there's some other stuff in there.
Are you thinking about auditing the Federal Reserve as well, which is obviously
Yeah, sure.
Regulatory economy?
And what was the threat? What was the threat exactly? Quote it to me.
I imagine you think the waste has got to be everywhere.
Yeah, no, waste is
Quote those threatening words.
pretty much everywhere. People ask, like, how can you find waste in DC? I'm like, look, it's like being in a room and this target, the wall, the roofs, and the floor are all targets. So it's like, you're gonna close your eyes and go shoot in any direction, because you can't miss, So it's pretty wild. Like you just push on things a little bit and you save billions of dollars. Like just a little bit, It's wild.
Yeah, just shoot anywhere. He basically just described his policy. He described his logic perfectly. He doesn't care what the organization he targets does. He doesn't care how important it is what they do. He doesn't care about the repercussions of cutting down on what he wants to cut down. No, he just goes blindly and he cannot miss. And I got this amount of money. I got that amount of money. There you go. Perfect. The people that maintain nuclear weapons is the best possible example of this, of just shooting blind. Oh, we've just saved a bunch of money on maintaining nuclear weapons.
Isn't it?
I don't know the quote exactly, but they brought a mob outside the judge's home, lol. Oh, so not only are we doing away with the freedom of speech, we're also doing away with the freedom to gather. Okay, thank you, Jack Dundu. You're a really pro-freedom person. I guess freedom of gathering is just bringing a mob. Freedom of speech is threatening. Okay, got it. But you don't know what the threats were.
That's why I say, like, it really is.
Just
If you
gathering
add
a mob.
caring and competence, how much things improve.
Yeah.
And we just find so many totally crazy things, which, we're sharing with the public. We post everything we learn. So you can see it.
What do you?
It's like, isn't it like it's?
I always love it when the pro-freedom people just crack down on freedom and say, oh no, they were just gathering a mob. Oh no, they were just threatening. Those were threatening words.
But totally wild. Like we just did like a check the database on Social Security. Like says how many alive Americans eligible for Social Security are there? And according to the
There you go. We're getting into this misinformation. This is the crux of how honest this person is. This is the best litmus test as to just how honest this person is on anything. Okay? He's gonna mention it, I'm gonna explain it because it's very simple. It is the simplest thing in the world. What is happening here? Okay?
Database, it's over 400 million. And we're like, wait a second.
And how many are getting?
How old are they again?
Yeah.
And then like we found like one person in there is like 360 years old. I'm like, what, do they know Ben
More than 100
Franklin
years
or
before the
something?
revolution.
Yeah. America didn't exist before that time. Like so.
Yeah, we were colonies.
Maybe it's just me, but I think it's a red flag. I don't know.
But are there indications that there were checks going to those people or any of those?
Okay, answer this question. Everything hinges on this question because the real answer is no. No checks go out to those people. This is a mistake. There are dates of birth and death for people, and before the date of 1920, the date of death is not recorded in the system. That is all that it is. all the people that were born before 1920 are not recorded in the system, and that's it. They do not receive any checks, though. It's simply a mistake in the system.
Those people?
So, no, none of them receive checks, and he'd have to prove that they do. If he says yes here, he's a gigantic liar.
Well, yeah.
That's, I guess, the question, right?
Oh, he wasn't so sure of himself when he said that. Well, yeah. No. The answer is no. The answer is a firm no. No money was going to those dead people that lived that were born in 1920 and before. None of them received any checks. So that's a lie.
I mean, I get the Social Security Administration is dumb, but are they paying these people? Are they that
No,
dumb?
they're not. And that is proven. That is demonstrated. Okay? They're not receiving that money. So again, when he says yes, he's lying to you.
I don't know.
A bunch of money is going out from the Social Security Administration. And in fact,
There we go. This is a dodge. A bunch of money is going for the social administration. He did not answer the question. At first, he said, well, yeah. And then he just retreated to saying, a bunch of money is going to the social administration. So he walked back his yeah right away because he knows that it's a lie.
from all entitlements programs,
72 billion in waste in like 7 years. That's 10 billion a year.
Well, I think the
Fraudulent payments.
the rough or estimate from
So that's a lie. That's a bunch of lies here.
Government Accountability Office is over $500 billion of fraud a year.
If I, and,
500 billion
and how long at a time?
per year.
Per year on Social Security?
No, on all
On all government.
on all entitlements.
All entitlements.
There you go. He just.
All entitlements, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't trust this guy on anything based on his initial, well, yeah, to the question of do any of those people who are recorded as being over 100 something years old receive checks? And then he said, I don't even know if he knows.
It sort of actually makes sense when you look at the thing from a top level and say, like, okay, there's $7 trillion of spending by the government. What percentage do you think is fraudulent? Okay, exactly. Like a conservative estimate.
If you're an idiot, you can create forgery anywhere. He just manufactured the forgery on the spot by saying that people who are dead are receiving social benefits, when that's absolutely not true. He just manufactured a forgery on the spot.
Yeah. Of the 7 trillion would be 10% conservative.
Probably a little higher than that, yeah.
Exactly.
Feels like a quarter out of every dollar, right?
But if the fraud's only 10% of 7 trillion, you've got $700 billion of fraud.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's like really easy to take advantage of the federal government. It's very easy. So,
Very easy. Look at COVID.
Yes.
Everybody got rich during COVID. I mean, look at all these scammers. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It looks like, in terms of the COVID payments, there was something like $200 billion of COVID payment fraud taken by fraudsters out of the country.
Out of the country, yeah.
That's like I think, listen, if there's going to be
What
fraud,
does
it
that
should at least be
mean?
domestic.
Yeah.
So,
I have no clue what he is even.
but they managed to get $200 billion out of the country. I'm
Like,
like,
you cannot just throw around the word fraud and expect it to be an explanation. What you said means nothing.
what? Didn't we notice that?
Let me ask you, let's do immigration here for a second. There's this move now that Trump's latest thing is that he's going to cut funding, any kind of money that ends up in the hands of illegal immigrants. So if you're funding these sanctuary cities and states, that's how they thrive, right? They're paying for these hotels. That's all federal money. If you got a hotel in your city in New York, you
Yeah, asylum seekers should just grovel in the dirt.
got all these hotels full of migrants. That's not state money. That's the feds are covering that. He's going to cut all that. It's really hard to deport 15 million people. And it seems like the move now is, let's see if we, especially at the rate that we're going, it seems like the move now is, let's make it so that they leave on their own. If there's no longer a dole system for them, if they can't get their hands on hotel rooms and money, they're going to go back, especially if there's no work.
Well, I think it's really important for people to understand that the Biden administration sent any possible money that they could if there was money they could send to facilitate and amplify illegal immigration, they sent it. Okay, they took money from FEMA meant for helping Americans in distress and sent that money to luxury
He
hotels.
spread misinformation about FEMA during some big pretty big disasters in the US, didn't you? Like floods and fires.
hotels for illegal immigrants in New York. That is
Hurricanes.
an outrage.
Yeah.
They actually did that. And not only that,
I don't believe that.
even
and
after the
I'm not gonna
president
fact
signed an
check it.
executive order saying it has to stop,
Like the moment you lied about one thing, I don't trust you on anything. And I know that you lied about the social security thing, 100%. So I just don't trust you in anything else.
the,
You lie once, you lose my trust forever. I'm sorry.
the sort of whatever deep state bureaucrats still
Deep state, who? What is this deep state? Deep state bureaucrats. You're the government now, even though you've not been elected.
pressed send on $80 million last week to go to the Roosevelt Hotel in New York and other places last week. And now they're mad that it got stopped, and they're like trying to sue to have it be restored. It's like the gumption is
You think they're creating a new voter class? Do you think that was the goal when they opened up the
Yes.
borders for 4 years? Create a new voter class, get them citizenship, get them in.
Yeah,
green
That
cards,
makes no sense.
vote.
That
a lot of these
conspiracy
things,
theory.
like you don't actually have to assume some grand conspiracy. You just need to look at basic incentives.
Benefits.
So if the incentives, fundamentally, if the probability that an illegal is going to vote Democrat at some point, whether it's cheating, but eventually they can become citizens. But if the probability is like 80, 90%, you just look at California, which is supermajority Dem, and then the incentive is to maximize the number of illegals in the country. That is why the Biden administration was pushing to get in.
And how does an illegal vote exactly? How does that process go? How does an illegal gain the right to vote? Please walk me through it. Because the American voting system must be really strange if anyone who's an illegal can just come and vote. If anybody who's illegally in the US can just vote, then why even go through all this? Just get 1 million tourists into the US and make them vote. If illegal immigrants can vote, then probably tourists can vote as well. Make tourists vote. Make tourists vote for the Democrats. There you go. This is stupid. How does an illegal person vote?
As many illegals as possible.
How
and
do they
spend
vote?
every dollar possible to get as many, because every one of them is a customer. Every one of them is a voter.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing
How?
was a giant
How is every one of them a voter? In Poland, it's absolutely impossible. It's physically impossible for an illegal immigrant to vote. There is no way. I'm sorry. If an illegal immigrant in the United States can suddenly spontaneously become a voter, then that's a problem with the US voting system, not with the immigrants. Because in Poland, no matter what you do, if you are undocumented, you will not vote. Not a chance in hell. So this is just stupid.
voter importation scam.
Pretty obvious.
Very obvious. And then they
A voter is by the very definition a citizen. Undocumented immigrants are not citizens. So answer me this. How do they vote? How?
Moreover, then they actually created the CVP1 voter app thing where they were.
Voter ID is not the same thing as no identification at all. I do not believe that you have no identification at all. That they don't ask who you are. Because that makes no sense. That is even stupider. That is even a stupider thing. Then anybody can vote, not just illegal immigrants. Tourists can vote in that case. Just buff up tourism, get as many tourists legally into the US and make them all vote. There is no voter ID after all. There's absolutely no identification when you vote, right? Just make tourists vote. It's safer. And nobody can complain about tourism. There you go. I've created a better scheme than the Democrats, supposedly. Just create a bustling tourist thing for the United States of America and make them vote for the Democrats. What would stop them? There's no identification. I can just go to the United States for 2 weeks on vacation and vote while I'm there, right? That's not a problem, right? I'm sorry, showing people how to get to the voting booth is not evidence of anything. Are you seriously telling me that it's a vote for something? That on video in Pennsylvania, someone shows illegal immigrants how to get to the voting booth. You can tell me how to get to the voting booth. What does that even mean? If you tell me how to get to the voting booth, does that mean that I can vote? Suddenly? Answer me this, Jack, don't do it. Wait, hold on. This is bullshit. I'm sorry, Jack, don't do it. This is bullshit. In the United States, you have to register to vote. So answer me this, Jack, don't do it. How do illegal immigrants register to vote? Go. In most cases, a Californian voter is not required to show identification to a polling place worker before casting a ballot. However, if you are voting for the first time after registering to vote by mail and did not provide your driver's license number, California identification number, or the last four digits of your social number on your registration form, you may be asked to show a form of identification when you go to the polls. Yeah, because by your standard, not just illegal immigrants can vote, anybody can vote. Legal immigrants can vote. People that are just temporarily in the US can vote. Any tourist can vote. I can vote in the US by your logic. I can get a tourist saying, no, I don't even need a visa anymore, actually. Polish people don't need visa anymore to go, I believe, for 90 days to the United States. So I can just get this temporary permit. I can get this electronic permit to travel to the US and I can vote. That is what you're saying, literally. It has nothing to do with being illegal or undocumented. You don't need that crap. I can go to the US legally and vote. That is what you're saying. So what does that have to do with illegal immigration again? You explain to me, as if I was a child. What does voting have to do with illegal immigration if I can just go legally right now and vote? I can just register. What stops me from registering just like an illegal immigrant does? Yeah. So what does voting have to do with illegal immigration? How does fighting illegal immigration stop this problem? Oh yeah, it doesn't. All the Democrats would have to do is switch to bumping up tourism, and the problem remains exactly the same. Oh my gosh. It turns out that illegal immigration had nothing to do with it. In fact, the tourism route is much safer because it's legal. Oh no. This is stupid.
Which is like where they would literally fly people in. It's not like like at the point at which people are being flown in at your expense.
Sending planes.
Like building a wall.
It seems like anybody in the world is a US voter. I guess anybody it seems that technically speaking, every citizen of the world is a potential US voter.
Doesn't matter.
Anybody can vote. I can vote. I'm a US voter.
Yeah, they're literally flying
Good
them
to
in.
know.
No other country in the world would do something like this. Nobody is
Good to know that I can just vote in the US. That I could have voted against Trump and it would have counted. Good to know.
Yeah, and then we found that it was like $100 million.
Good to know that it doesn't matter if you're an American or not. Anybody can vote. Actually,
contract given to some guy.
Because the US is such a highly incompetent country at its core that anybody can just vote, except for US prisoners. So there are instances in which non-citizens can vote and citizens cannot, because in the US prisoners actually cannot vote. Their voting rights are taken away. Except even prisoners can probably vote because you don't need an ID. And most prisoners are probably already registered to vote. So there you have it. Prisoners can also vote, actually.
Guy in London, actually, oddly enough, for the CBP1 app. They're flying illegals into the swing states.
Yeah.
For a day. And who was fighting for what?
If you've got like
Yeah, but he's not under arrest. He's not a prisoner. An electoral roll is a compilation that lists persons who are entitled to vote for particular elections in a particular jurisdiction. USA illegal immigrants on voter roll. Can illegal immigrants really vote in the US elections? There you go. A BBC article that fact checks this. Donald Trump and his Republican allies have repeatedly claimed that the Democrats are planning to get illegal immigrants to vote in the US election. Our elections are bad, and a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in, they're trying to get them to vote, Trump said during the presidential debate with Kamala Harris. BBC Verify has identified more than 100 paid-off paid for ads on Facebook and Instagram posted by Republicans since the start of September, focusing on the issue. It is illegal for non-US citizens to vote in a national election, but studies suggest cases of this actually happening and very rare. Oh wow. Incredible. What laws are in place to stop illegal immigrants from voting? There are laws in place against it? No way. I thought it was a free for all. I thought it was a free for all buffet for any foreigner, not just illegal, to go and vote. The Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of, yeah, because Trump is sure. Yeah, I should trust Elon Musk over the BBC, okay? Oh, you got it. Yeah, you got it, champ. I'm believing Trump and Elon Musk over the BBC. The Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996 prohibits non-citizens, which includes illegal immigrants, from voting in federal elections. I'm sorry, but if what you and Elon Musk and Trump are saying is true, then it's not a problem of illegal immigration. It's a problem of a fundamentally broken voting system in which all foreigners, every person on the planet, can potentially vote, legal or not. You can just temporarily come to the US legally and vote. You don't have to come illegally, just come legally and vote, which include illegal. The punishment includes a year in prison, a fine, and possibility of deportation. Every state is required to use a common registration form, which requires people to confirm they are US citizens, under penalty of perjury, false claims, but does not require documentary proof. That first step of having to tick a box saying you're a citizen to register to vote is a huge deterrent for illegal immigrants, as it's hugely risky to lie, says Jasling Singh, a voting expert at the liberal policy think tank Brennan Cantor for Justice. And if being an illegal immigrant works anything like it does in Poland, and I happen to know how it works in Poland, then that is absolutely true. Illegal immigrants generally speaking try to hide because they could be checked at any time. I don't know. I'm going to the toilet. I'm annoyed. Yeah, I'm sorry that looking at the media, which I'm sorry that looking at fact check, at looking at actual regulation, shatters your narrative. I'm sorry that the United States is not a country in which how many voters does the United States have according to you? World population 2025. World population 2025. So, I'm sorry the United States does not have over 8 billion voters, okay? That is not the reality of the situation. We're not looking at a United States that allows over 8 billion people to vote if they just so choose on a whim. That is what you are saying. You're saying that the United States has 8 billion potential voters that can vote whatever they want. If you want to believe that, then okay. That's your right. If illegal, like, I'm sorry, use your brain for a second. If illegal immigrants can vote, anyone can vote. Any foreigner can vote at that point, okay? Any foreigner that enters the country under any pretense can vote at that point, including exchange students, including people like seasonal workers, including people like tourists. All of them can just vote. They're in the country. There's no need for documentation. Everybody can vote. You have 8 billion potential voters in the US. Congratulations. This has nothing to, even if I accept everything that is said, the entire logic of it, this has nothing to do with illegal immigration, because everybody can vote. Every single person on earth can vote if they can get into the US, legally or not. So there you go. You don't even have to come illegally to the US to vote. Just come legally. get any sort of temporary permit to go to US. Go and vote. Just knock yourself out. Vote. You're from Poland? Go vote. You're from Germany? Go vote. France? Vote. China? Vote. In fact, why don't the US enemies, why is it only a plan by, okay, before I go to the toilet, I have this question. If it's so easy to vote for people, okay, then why did only the Democratic Party take advantage of this in order to further their agenda? Why didn't China send a bunch of people to vote for their interest? Why didn't Russia send a bunch of people one way or the other to vote for their interest? Why isn't the US a puppet of foreign interest constantly? Why is it the US, at this point, the US should be just a puppet country for any state that has enough people to send and affect the votes? China has a lot of people. China could send a lot of voters and vote everything to be in China's favor when it comes to the US policy. Why not? Why didn't they do it? They could, if it's so easy to vote in the United States. Oops. I'm pretty surprised that China, Russia, Iran, and all those other countries have not taken advantage of this free vote buffet that is before them. Oh, okay. I see. You have no answers to my questions. I understand. Okay. I'm gonna be back. Oh, God. What a country. Just import hundreds of thousands of tourists. They'll do the job. They'll get the person you want elected. No, oh, now you're switching it. Before you said there's video evidence of illegal immigrants being told how to go to the voting booth. Now you're saying there's video evidence of them actually voting. So which is it? Are they being told how to vote, or is there actual video evidence of them voting? If there's video evidence of them voting, then why has this evidence not been submitted and those votes cancelled? Oh, because there's a deep state. There's a super deep state. There's a super deep state. Like, even if the people have evidence, they cannot just present it because. Okay. Hello, HR Hopes. HR Lopes. All Russian talking pieces they read of the same book. Have I seen you here before on the stream? Actually, I'm not sure. Greetings. Hello. Are you new to the stream or first time? I hope you'll enjoy. You're watching pretty painful material right now, but I still hope that I'll be able to make a viewer out of you yet. Oh, great argument, Lucy. You're saying zero illegal immigrants have ever voted? If one illegal immigrant ever voted in history, that proves Jack is right. And our country is destroyed. Well, it's not destroyed. Trump is making America great again, remember? Okay, let's go. In many states, voter rolls are cross-referenced with citizenship and immigration services. Oh, wait. So the whole thing about illegal immigrants being on voter rolls is meaningless. It's a meaningless statement, just as I predicted. Just as I thought, being on a voter roll is meaningless on its own. What a shock. It's cross-referenced with citizenship and with immigration services. Wow, who could have predicted? Can believe America backstabbing Ukraine and sided with our enemy. I mean, it did, and it's still doing it. We still have a few Ukraine-related topics. I guess I should introduce myself if it's your first time. Lucy Haze. I'm a Polish trans streamer. I do history, I do politics. I travel regularly to Ukraine and do interviews with refugees, I suppose. But more on the side of interviewing an organization that rescues kidnapped children, and as of recently, trying to interview the kidnapped and rescued children themselves. Oh, thank you. Poland can be pretty nice. Poland can be pretty nice when it's not crappy on Ukraine itself, but that's a whole other topic. I've already covered the president of Poland horrible tweet about being an idiot, about pressuring Zelensky to just take it from Putin, however much of a scumbag he is. Okay. Also, if you are enjoying yourself by any chance and you are willing to come back, then please consider watching the stream through this page. This would help me a great deal. If you have any feedback as to what you're seeing right now on screen, I'd gladly take it into consideration. Poland is a strong country. They see right through Putin's bullshit. Well, there are certain politicians that unfortunately don't, as evidenced as my today's little segment about the Polish president. So there we have it, documentary proof. Reference, that is a pretty important bit. In many states, voter rolls are cross-referenced with citizenship and immigration services, death certificates, and postal records to make sure that people who are non-citizens, dead or alive, out of state, are not registered to vote. Yeah, Duda made a horrible statement very recently. Basically saying, oh yeah, Trump is such a principled guy. Just keep going and be nice to him. Whatever he does. That's basically Duda's. I've just talked to Zelensky and told him that. Non-citizens are not allowed to vote in statewide elections either. Yeah. However, some municipalities in California, Maryland, Vermont, and Washington, D.C. do allow them to vote in certain local elections, such as for school boards. Oh, wow. The country's ruined. Some illegal immigrants and some non-citizens, because non-citizens, I will remind you, non-citizens are not necessarily illegal immigrants. Let's make that clear. If you're a non-citizen, it doesn't mean that you're an illegal quote-unquote immigrant. A tourist is a non-citizen. American pressure. Oh yeah. Well, America is kind of turning into a Russian-like empire itself. The way it's treating Ukraine, the deal that it's trying to push for Ukraine. Just saying. Just saying. All right. What evidence is there that illegal immigrants vote? Let's see. Let's see the evidence. A permanent resident is a non-citizen. Correct. I wasn't sure if residency worked the same way in the US as in it does in Poland, so I did not mention that. But if there's a permanent residency card in the US, then yes, that is not a citizen. Then again, if you have permanent resident, then you have also temporary resident, and that also is not citizen. A number of studies, both from conservative and left-leaning organization, in case Jack Don't Do It says that there's a bias, suggest instances of illegal immigrants voting in US federal elections are very rare. Right. One by the Brennan. No, the Russian Empire has been an empire before the US has properly existed. One by the Brennan Center for Justice interviewed 44 election officials who worked across 12 states during the 2016 election. It found that out of 23.5 million votes counted in these states, an estimated 30 suspected incidents of non-citizen voting were referred for further investigation. That's about 0.0001% of all votes cast. Wow. An analysis of a database which collected election fraud cases between 1999 and 2023 by the Heritage Foundation, a conservative research group, found 77 instances of non-citizen voting. Wow, that's a huge game-changing number, isn't it? Amazing. Russia has been doing arguably settler colonialism even before the United States existed as a country, not to mention an empire. A number of other reports, including by the Cato Institute's a conservative think tank entitled "Non-Citizens Don't Illegally Vote in Detectable Numbers," come to similar conclusions. Yeah, I live stream on my site. Yeah, I'll come on there then. Thank you. Yeah, the evidence seems to be indicating that. Oh my god, this is amazing. This whole immigrants can vote thing, it's just great. According to many sources of evidence, the number of non-citizens who vote in elections is very small, says Walton Olson, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute who's written a number of reports on voter fraud. What's the issue? What is the issue in registering? I think it's anti VPNs, etc. I think there's I think there might be a problem with that. It's not zero. Some people slip through the cracks for various reasons, but it's nowhere near at the level to impact the outcome of an election. Because if that could happen, again, China would send voters, Russia would send voters, any country that could benefit from influencing US elections would send voters. It'll be as simple as that. The US could at that point say goodbye to its sovereignty, okay? If any foreigner could vote, it would be game over for the US sovereignty, quite honestly. Try using a different browser. That can work for you. Maybe try using a different browser. I guess that's the thing that I can advise. Because White Forest is a page that, generally speaking, a lot of people use. And usually that's not a problem. I don't know what browser you use. What evidence do Republicans cite? Perfect, let's go. Let's go to the evidence. The Safeguard American Voter Eligibility SAVE Act, a Republican proposal which would require people to prove their citizenship when registering to vote, has been rejected in the House of Representatives. Try using a different browser. That's all that I can advise you, I guess. I can DM right now a person that is responsible for the thing and see if they will say anything. Let me see. Let me. There you go. I've sent a question to the person that takes care of the page. All right. Blah, 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 we have Republican lawmakers continue to push for more citizenship requirements. We have a number of states who have done audits of their voter rolls and found thousands of non-citizens, which is meaningless because voter rolls are cross-referenced with citizenship and with immigration institutes, so that's meaningless. That's a meaningless statement. The lead Republican in the House, Mike Johnson, told CNN. Mike Johnson said a very meaningless statement indeed. He highlighted Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, three states where polls show a tight race between Trump and Kamala Harris. Oh, what a shocker. In Ohio, a review called by Republican officials in the state found that out of about 8 million registered voters, there were 597 cases which have been referred for further review and potential prosecution for non-citizen registering to vote. So out of 8 million voters, 597 has been caught, and that doesn't mean that 597 the illegal immigrants have voted. No, it means that 597 people are suspected of that, which means that this number could go down. In Pennsylvania, a glitch with electronic touchscreens in state driver's license centers wrongly showed non-citizens the options to register to vote while getting new or updated licenses. This glitch was in the system between 2006 and 2017 and has since been resolved. Whoops. Well, I guess that's, yeah. Whoops. In 2017, Pennsylvania state election officials said non-citizens immigrants might have cast 544 ballots illegally out of more than 93 million ballots in elections dating back to 2000. Yeah, that's the Democrats have really struck on a brilliant scheme to gain illegal votes and to swing elections. In Georgia, a review of voter rolls in 2022 found 1,634 people had attempted to register to vote but were not able to be verified. Oh, okay. Out of about 7 million registered voters, voter fraud and illegal immigrants voting is so rare that this myth is to sow doubt in election integrity and lay the groundwork to cast doubt on the election outcome, argues Ms. Singh. Republican ads so further, and then there are ads. We've already went through this. This is ridiculous.
A margin of victory of maybe 20,000 people, and you fly 200,000 illegals into that state. It's not going to be a swing state for long.
There you go. This is a myth. That does not happen. By the same logic, you can just fly in 200,000 legal tourists, okay, for vacation and make them vote. And suddenly the illegality thing goes away.
numbers eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe in 4 or 8 years, you're talking about
It's
perpetual
just a matter
power.
of time.
It's a long game.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Well, I just read a whole article explaining that you cannot vote as an illegal. You can
So-
attempt to sort of kind of, and some manage to do it, but it's very rare.
It might take like a year for an asylum seeker or something to get a green card, and then 5 years for the citizenship. It's an investment that is guaranteed to pay off.
Yeah.
Wait, if it takes them X amount of years to get a green card and then citizenship, then they're no longer illegal immigrants. They're citizens. And citizens can vote. Yeah. Duh. If you're a citizen, you can vote. Amazing. The whole argument crumbles. Yeah, I fail to believe that 200,000 people that are flown in as illegal immigrants in a few years just become citizens, okay? Somehow I fail to believe that is how that works.
Just a question of when.
They all remember who brought them in and who left them here.
Exactly.
Exactly. I want to go back. I want to talk about Biden.
This is a big deal. I think a lot of people don't quite appreciate that this was an actual, real scam at scale to tilt the scales of democracy in America.
Okay, if that's the case, then why didn't Kamala Harris win? If it's so easy to pull off, if it's so undetectable, if it's so effective, then in fact, why didn't China affect the U.S. election or Russia? If it is so easy.
Treason.
Yeah.
One more Biden question. I remember when they would do the electric car stuff, they would always try to box you out, even though you have the only electric.
So they're obtaining citizenship for free to vote. Doesn't sound. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I just don't buy it.
Or anybody wants.
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
You said, I think this week, that you think that Biden left these astronauts up in space because he didn't want to give you.
I don't buy that 200,000 people just magically become citizens.
An opportunity to save them, make NASA look bad, make the private sector look better, make you look good. You believe that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, of course.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. Why would he want to let you help them come down when you're supporting the president?
I mean, the Biden administration was attacking me next level.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice, or Injustice under the Biden administration, was.
Yeah.
I mean, they were suing SpaceX. They're suing SpaceX for not hiring asylum seekers, and we're like, but it's actually illegal for us to hire asylum seekers because rocket technology is covered under ITAR rules, which means it's an advanced weapons technology.
Yeah.
And so we can only hire permanent residents or citizens.
Right.
So we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. We sort of
My brain can only take so much. My brain can only take so much nonsense, okay?
database, it's over 400 million.
I'm
And we're like,
sorry.
how can they
Wait
sue
a
us
second.
for
You're
not
not convinced.
hiring a sound
And how many are getting?
How
many are getting
again?
Yeah.
And then like we found like one person in there is like 360 years
360.
old. I'm like, what do they know, Ben
More than 100
Franklin or
years before the
something? I
revolution.
mean,
Yeah.
you know, America didn't exist before that time. Like, so,
I unmuted. This is a mess. You cannot persuade me that the American voting system is so fundamentally broken, so fundamentally broke and flawed that basically anyone can vote on this planet if they just arrive in the US and register in certain states. You cannot persuade me of that. You cannot persuade me that the US has 8 billion potential voters just waiting in the lanes, okay? At that point, the US would not be an independent country anymore. Like, you really think that a country that has billions of people, billions of citizens like China would not take advantage of something like that? Really? You think so? That only the Democrats, the devious Democrats would think to take advantage of such a loop, such an obvious loop?
when it's actually illegal for us to do so. But nonetheless, there was a big Department of Justice or injustice case about this against SpaceX. So obviously it was an antagonistic situation. And those astronauts were supposed to be up there for 8 days, and now they're up there for 8 months. Does that make any sense? And we obviously could have brought them back sooner, but they didn't want anyone who supported President Trump to look good, basically.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
A lot of them are saying right now that the reason that you want to get into Social Security, that you want to get into all of these different, into Treasury and things like that, is that you're looking for personal information and you're trying to make more money.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody as rich as you that cared less about money in my life. Every time I hear a story about you, you're sleeping on a couch of some other.
That's amazing, but it doesn't change the fact that you're butchering very important U.S. institutions. Yeah, of course you don't care about money. You care about your fragile ego. You care about being praised. You care about the recognition. You care about power. Okay? That's what you care about. You're not in it for the money. You're in it for the rush of having the power to do whatever you want. The Republicans are 10 times more crooked than any other party. They would have well exploited it. True. Oh, yeah, of course.
Other guy in a city that you could buy the entire thing.
Yeah,
I don't think you care about money, do you?
No, actually, no, I mean, listen. Like, if I steal some Social Security, I can finally buy nice things.
Yeah.
You know?
And on that same question, they're also talking about.
It's not actually about stealing money. It's about undermining the institutions. I thought this would be obvious for anyone with two brain cells to rub together, actually. Okay?
You guys are going to end Social Security. You're going to end Medicare. You're going to end these things. I don't imagine that conversation has been had with the president, and that's the plan.
No, in fact, the actions that we're taking.
I thought that would be obvious, that people would go, oh, duh, Elon Musk is just trying to enrich himself. No, he's trying to undermine the institutions, obviously, along with his daddy Trump. Although nowadays it's actually pretty difficult to say who the real daddy is, Trump or Elon Musk.
With the support of the president and the support of the agencies, is what will save Medicare, what will save Social Security.
Yeah.
I think this is the weird interview in which the Ukraine talking point will, like, they'll be talking about Ukraine at some point. There's a clip that I've seen.
And it because if the country goes insolvent, if all the money is just spent on paying interest on debt, there's no money left for anything.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I'm doing this, is because
the U.S., famously the poorest country on earth that cannot afford anything. Yeah, of course, Elon Musk, yeah. I buy it. I believe it. That's why you have to butcher all the institutions to finally make America be able to afford anything.
Looking at the big picture here, and it's like, man, our debt's getting out of control. The interest payments, the interest on the national debt now exceeds the entire Defense Department budget.
$1 trillion a year in
Yes.
interest. Just to carry the money that we owe is $1 trillion a year.
Yes.
That is unbelievable.
And rising rapidly. So like, I mean, a country's no different from a person. A country overspends.
And MAGA fags are too blind to see their countries being... I mean, it's not just the country, okay? More than just the U.S. is being screwed by this administration. The world right now is getting screwed by this administration. First and foremost, Ukraine.
Country goes
Is
bankrupt.
getting
Same as the person who overspends goes
Will
bankrupt.
you stream tomorrow? Yeah. But if I'm gonna stream tomorrow, it's just gonna be video games, Forest, or something like that.
Bankrupt. So it's not like optional to solve these things. It's essential. So
Yeah, it's essential to dismantle all the checks and balances.
Bankrupt.
They
Yeah.
dismantled an organization whose primary job is to, at least they fired a lot of people in an organization which primary job is to look into foreign influence and foreign interference into the United States. Can you imagine that? That people whose sole job was to look into whether or not, for example, Russia is trying to influence things in America have just been fired.
We are.
Look at the way they're trying to meddle in foreign affairs and elections. They will try this in Europe. Musk is already meddling in European elections, so don't you worry. He already is a huge endorser for the Alternative für Deutschland party, so don't you worry about a thing. JD Vance already said in his recent speech that just because Russia has managed to interfere in Romanian election, it doesn't mean that Romanian government should have cancelled the first round of that election. Romania should have just loudly complained about the state of affairs, but it really should not have interfered at all when being able to prove Russian interference. This is ridiculous because trying to fight Russian interference into your election is apparently anti-democratic, according to J.D. Vance.
Minutes left here. Russia. There's a huge push from this administration.
There we go. There we go. We're gonna discuss Ukraine now. Oh, I'm gonna have some things to say.
It's like
To end this war.
Say like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a bought asset of Putin.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, you are actually. Remember when Ukraine was doing this huge operation around Crimea and they were in really big need of Starlink and suddenly Elon Musk cut off signal mid-operation and they just couldn't do it effectively? Remember when that happened? Yeah, you're totally not a butchill of Putin. No, totally. Yeah, he cut off the signal. Yeah, in the middle of the operation. That totally did not happen. And Elon Musk is totally legit.
he can't afford me.
I think you're worth more than Russia.
Think about it.
So you're trying to end a war. It's all.
Russia has very quickly obtained Starlink, by the way. Just so you know. Just so you know.
War always means you have to compromise, you have to negotiate with an enemy or an adversary. That's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just as the world just negotiated with Nazi Germany. It is what it is, right?
Right now, they are lambasting the
Can
president.
I hear that again? Can I hear this stupid statement again?
Ending a war always means you have to compromise. You're trying to end a war. It's all. Ending a war always means you have to
Any war always means you need to negotiate,
compromise. You have to
compromise. You know, just as Nazi Germany was compromised with, just as Nazi Germany was negotiated with. Well, no, it was an unconditional surrender, actually. What a shocker that happens sometimes.
negotiate with an enemy or an adversary. That's just what it is. And right now,
Yeah, it is what it is. We just need to give an aggressive genocidal country what they want, screw over our ally, bend over backwards to give them what they want, completely ignore past obligations that we have, Budapest Memorandum, and it'll be all fine. It is what it is.
lambasting the president for trying a different method to a war that they haven't been able to end for 3.5 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
We just give Russia what it wants. It's pretty easy. We're gonna end this war very quick. Oh yeah, and we're also going to extort Ukraine for resources while we're at it.
They're saying Trump's blaming
We're just
Zelensky
gonna extort Ukraine for money. We're gonna punish Ukraine for being invaded. That's
for the invasion. How do you process all of the negativity toward him for trying to end this war?
Well, first of all, I think we should have empathy for the people dying at the front lines. That's the most important thing. And people have been...
Yeah, you don't have such thing as empathy, okay? This empathy of yours is just a way for you to completely throw away the sacrifice of the soldiers fighting at the front line. Fighting for their families, fighting for their loved ones, fighting for their country, fighting for the reunification of the land that is now under occupation, fighting for those who are waiting to be rescued, who are waiting to be liberated.
dying, you know.
We have no sympathy for Ukrainians who are fighting.
How many more years is this supposed to go on?
Yeah.
And imagine if that was your son, your father, you know. What are they dying for?
What did you die for?
What exactly are they dying for?
I don't know. For a country that is not being bombed daily, for a future where you don't have to worry about whether or not you'll end up in a mass grave, for the future on whether or not you'll not end up on occupied territory where you will get tortured, raped, when your children will be exposed to Russification. Maybe they are fighting for that. Just a thought, just a few things that maybe perhaps they are fighting for. There's a whole long list that could be quoted as to what the Ukrainian soldiers out east are fighting for daily, under very bad circumstances, with horribly misplaced aid, mishandled aid, ridiculous question, really stupid question.
The line of engagement has barely moved for 2 years.
Yeah.
No, it has actually not barely moved. It is moving in Russia's favor because aid has been mishandled. I hate this line of reasoning so much The West has dropped the ball on aid, and now idiots like Elon Musk come out of the woodwork and say, see, this one was unwinnable to begin with, so we must just give Russia what it wants, I guess. What are they fighting? What are they dying for?
Much of people dead in trenches for what? And I'll tell you what for what. It's like for the biggest graft machine that I've ever seen in my life. That's for what.
What a scumbag.
It's unreal.
What
Like
an actual scumbag.
the amount of money that is being taken in graft and bribery is disgusting.
Yeah, another talking point that has no justification, has no evidence. There's a huge report that outlines what sort of aid goes to what and what happens with what money. And a lot of US aid goes straight into the US weapons manufacturer to replenish the stock with brand new weapons and just give all the old equipment to Ukraine. This is so basic. This is basic stuff.
And so what's
It's all
actually
bullet points. It's all bullet points that only idiots will eat up.
happening is that those people, those poor guys are getting sent into a meat grinder for money. That's what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And it needs to stop.
And that's, I mean,
This
that's
is just empty bullet points that mean nothing. Complete fabrication. But then what do I expect from a person that said with a straight face that dead people are getting social benefits in the United States? That people that are over 200 years old are receiving benefits in the United States?
it seems, I mean, Trump is so pragmatic on this. He just,
No, he's not.
just looking at it and he's saying it's Ukraine, it's not our country, it's not a NATO ally. I just want to see people not dying. I want to see on both sides.
What about the Budapest Memorandum, genius? What about that little obligation that the United States has committed to, together with the United Kingdom while we're at it?
Think about how many so many young men have died in Ukraine that the army is starting to age out, the military.
Actually, the United States tried to pressure Ukraine into sending younger people into the front, and Zelensky has repeatedly refused to do so.
Aging out. You got 40 and 50-year-old guys fighting in a war because there's nobody left that's not killed or maimed in their 20s.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Think about how many people that is. If you're a humanitarian at all, you just got to end the war. Like,
Yeah, I agree. You do have to end the war. You have to end the war in a situation that will be favorable to the one party that has been invaded, Ukraine. You have to build a situation in which Ukraine will have strong safety guarantees, first of all, in which Ukraine would ideally receive reparations from Russia and also receive a huge Marshall Plan-like thing to rebuild, okay? Not being extorted for resources as punishment for being invaded.
no matter what, just get it over with.
Yeah, how about telling Russia to fuck off Ukrainian lands? Exactly.
Yes, people, they need to stop dying.
That's a brilliant, what a brilliant deep thought. Why haven't I ever thought of that? People just need to stop dying. Dying is bad. Dying is not good. It is very bad when people die.
And,
Wow.
and the grift machine's got to stop.
That is so deep.
You know, so, and I think people that don't, a lot of people out there don't realize, like, the president has a lot of empathy. He really cares.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good guy.
Fuck off. Come on.
He's a good man.
Oh my God, really? Really?
So,
Yeah, he's such an empathetic good man. That is exactly why he tried to extort Ukraine for 50% of all of its resources.
One more for you.
An unsustainable thing that wouldn't crumble the Ukrainian budget. Amazing. How so much empathy.
I've been fascinated by you for a very long time.
thanks.
People would be left starving on the streets as long as Ukraine would be able to pay its toll in resources to the United States of America.
I've never seen anybody that can, do so many things at the same time. I mean, you've got the rockets, you got the cars. I've always wanted to ask you, what is it like inside your mind? Like, is it just 1,000 miles an hour? I mean,
Oh my God, such cocksucking. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe what a circle jerk this is. What is in your mind? You're such a genius.
are you,
Yeah.
is it just not?
Yeah, I'm just a genius. I'm just, you know me, I'm just built different. What happened, fake Cal Parker? You know me, I'm just built different. You know me.
Does it ever stop? Do you sleep? How much do you sleep?
It is. I don't sleep. I ain't built that way. I don't rest. I just meme. Such one-sided, non-accountable defrauding. I know. For my Mortal Kombat fanfiction, should I make Bi-Han a bad guy or a redeemed former anti? I don't know that character. I have no idea which Mortal Kombat game that character appeared in. I only know the first 3 Mortal Kombat games, just so you know.
Paint us a picture of inside of
Who was the original Sub-Zero? Oh, okay. The original Sub-Zero, neutral. He was neutral, basically.
the mind of a genius.
He was
Like, how do
just
you,
an assassin.
how do you do
He
all
was
this?
neutral.
Can you answer that question? It's not an easy question. Yeah.
I mean, my mind is a
It's a stupid question.
storm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a storm. But
This answer rings just as true as when he was talking about his gaming career and the Path of Exile too. Remember?
But, I mean,
Remember that? Remember Elon Musk's illustrious gaming career?
tell you something, like you didn't ask the question, but I think it's worth kind of nonetheless maybe just elaborating on something.
Are you really the top gamer? yeah, I am.
Which is, you know, I grew up in South Africa, but my morality was informed by America. I read comic books, you know, played Dungeons and Dragons, and
I don't even know if to believe that actually.
I watched American TV shows,
Aw.
and it seemed like America cared about being the good guys, you know, about doing the right thing.
Well, now you're in charge, so that much has definitely changed, okay? Now America definitely does that. Maybe, you know, maybe this is a genuine moment of reflection on Elon Musk's part. He's like, I read all these American comics, and I think maybe the villains should win. I like those villains in these comics. I'm just gonna make America not give a shit anymore. The United States cares about being the good guys, and I don't know. It feels like it's time for a change, shape up, you know.
And that's actually pretty unusual, by the way.
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah,
it's like,
we should change that.
In the world, it's very unusual.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like actually.
Most countries don't do that.
No, they don't.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Where's the fun in that?
And so I was like, yeah, you know, you want to be this good, you want to be on the side of good, you want to care about what's right, and
Yeah, I want to be on the side good. You want to extort countries for their natural resources. You want to make friends with dictators. You want to put the biggest lunatic conspiracy theorists at the top of healthcare. You want to leave the World Health Organization and leave people to die of preventable disease. You want to cut humanitarian aid all around the world and do it while doing the clumsy salute. Yeah, cool.
and
Yeah, but true the action of real good guys.
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what I believe in.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
I believe that.
I gave you a tough one at the end.
Yeah.
So wise.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Elon Musk.
All right,
you're the
thank
man.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, Elon Musk. Yeah. Ooh.
All right. Hey guys. Yeah, thanks.
And the way things are going, the United States are gonna turn into a Texas Chainsaw Massacre